So I'm standing here near one of my white sage plants, and the Latin name is Salvia appiana. And this is the traditional sage that you have seen everywhere, I guess, for smudging. It's a Native American herb in California here and across the Southwest. And it's been very popular in the witchy and metaphysical groups for being very good for burning to clear an area of energies. It pretty much clears all energies out of the area that you're smudging or smoke cleansing. But I wanted to talk to you about it a little bit today. I grow it here. It is native where I live. And I put my own energy into it. I care for it. And so if you are going to use white sage, be sure that you buy from a seller who is getting it from a good source. All of my plants here are organic. I don't spray any kinds of weed killers or bug sprays or anything like that on my property here at Owl Moon Homestead. And when I trim my white sage to make a smoke bundle, I only trim off maybe the first several inches like this. I would never cut it way down to the roots. Now, there have been some people who have gone out in the wilds in the Southwest and they have cut the plant all the way down to the bottom, way down there. If you cut it off, the plant will die. So harvesting white sage is very important to just take the first few inches. Here's some nice shoots. You can make a nice little bundle like that out of just this much. Okay, so anything that I sell or give to people is going to come from where I live and where I grow. And I use other herbs besides white sage, which I'm going to talk to you about in a few moments. So before I go into the next segment on how to create your own sacred smoke bundles or smudge sticks, whatever you want to call it, I'd like to share a really fantastic book with you. It's called Sacred Smoke by Amy Blackthorn. Amy Blackthorn has a lot of really fantastic books out there. So if you're a green witch and you really love the plant world and working with plant magic, check out some of her books if you haven't already. This book is more than just how to make a smoke bundle, okay? More than just wrapping up and maybe even drying herbs. She goes into all the different ways that you can use the energy of sacred smoke. You can use it in your spells. You can use it in your home to different purposes. It's a very thorough and well-researched book. So check it out. I'll put the title and the author in the description to this video. Okay, I've cleaned out my craft table somewhat here. I wanted to show you a few things before I get into making one of those really fancy smoke bundles. And that's basically how do you wrap your herb. Here is some of the fresh Salvia appiana or white sage that I just cut. And these are some that I harvested a couple of months ago, and they are thoroughly dry now. You want to make sure that the air can circulate inside of the herb bundle so that it thoroughly dries. Otherwise, the plant material could rot. So you want to make sure that it is dry before it's burned. I also make a point to use cotton string. You can see that this herb bundle shrunk up somewhat because the string is loose. Okay, it was really tight when I first did this. So I'm going to show you how to get some string. I'm going to cut off a good length of this cotton string and leave a little tail hanging off the end here. And then with the long end, you're going to wrap. And as you go around, you're going to wrap it really tight. Okay, you could have maybe 2 of these stems of sage if you wanted. I'm just demonstrating on this one, but hold it in place and get it nice and tight. You can turn it this way if you want to. But see, this is kind of a skinny one. Once you get to the top, then start back down the other way. But see, I lost my grip on this one here. I have to go back. You have to hang on to the loose end there. And be patient. And try to get it nice and tight. Once you get to the end, you can tie these 2 in a knot and make a little hanger, and then hang it upside down in a dark place that is a little on the dry side and the warm side. You don't want it to be anywhere where it's going to be humid, so don't put it in a bathroom or a laundry room. You want it to thoroughly dry out. Okay, so tight wrapping with cotton string. Okay, so I have here a dried bundle. So I got 3 of them here, and so it's pretty much holding its shape. But what I want to do is I want to make one of those kind that you see online. They're all fancy and they got all kinds of decorations on them. And it occurred to me that those are really pretty fat. And so you're going to want to dry the inside part first, and then you can gather some other materials to dress it up. Okay, so let me grab my materials here. So here's one that I just whipped up. So that's what I'm talking about, the fancy doodle ones that you see online. And I'm going to show you how to make those. I mean, it's not as hard as it looks. And I wanted to mention too, you don't have to use white sage as the core of your smudge or your smokes bundle here. You could use rosemary is a lovely one, or you could use lavender, any of those types of herbs that you know for a fact burn well. So let's go into that a little bit. Just because a plant's leaves smell good does not mean that it's going to dry and burn well. I've been there, done that, and it's kind of disappointing to get some really fragrant leaves from a plant and wait for it to dry and then burn it, and then it just smells like burning plant. It doesn't have that wonderful smell that some herbs give off. So there's certain kinds you can use. Rosemary's one, lavender works well. Virtually any plant that you would put in incense will work in a smoke bundle as well. Okay, so whatever you got a lot of. All right, so this one kind of reminded me of Yule a little bit, so I'm kind of calling it my Yule bundle. And I've got some red roses here, and it's got juniper. I'm growing some little juniper bushes, and they just haven't grown very fast. Maybe this year they'll take off growing, but I realized when I cut this that it was very prickly, so it wasn't very easy putting this one together because of that. And I also have some lavender in there and a little bit of rosemary. So I have a variety of things that I've harvested here. So this other one I'm going to, oh, and then I used some pretty ribbon. I put a little charm on there, and I put some cinnamon sticks in there to make it even fancier. Okay, so whatever you can find, you see some that have a crystal tucked in there. Before you burn it though, you need to make sure that you're not going to burn this satin ribbon. Okay, you only want to burn things that are of plant material and that you know are safe. Okay, so you would, for instance, never find digitalis in any of my herb bundles because, for one thing, I don't think that it smells that great when it's burned, but also it's highly toxic. So do your research. Get Amy's book. She'll tell you which plants you can use. Okay. So that's this one. I'm going to let it dry. You know, I could try hanging it upside down like this. I left a little bit of string there. And so this one will dry out. It'll be ready to use around Yule time. And so let me show you the way to put one of these together. This guy's a little bit smaller, but he's a dried out white sage bundle. This is the first time I've been able to harvest this black sage. It's another native here, and it does have a slightly different smell to it, and the black makes me feel like it would be kind of protective. Here is some Artemisia. That is a type of a sagebrush, I think they call it here. And this one creeps along the ground. Really yummy smelling. Kind of fresh. Really nice. I like that one. This one, and sometimes I have to smell them after I harvest them so I can figure out what they are. You get to know the smells. Yeah, this is blue sage, which is another native, Salvia clevelandia. I can't remember what the Latin name is for the black sage. I got a little more rosemary here, which is our all-purpose great herb. And then I did harvest some lavender as well. So I picked a few blossoms. There weren't very many lavender blossoms at this time of year, but there were a couple coming out. Another couple months it's probably going to be blooming pretty well. And so I'm going to dress up my white sage bundle now. And I think what I'd like to do is make this one be more of a kind of a meditation type of a bundle. And I really don't have to use all this plant material. Okay, so I'm just going to take a few stems and I'll put that like this. You want to arrange it in your hand first. And go for a variety of textures. Okay, so we got the white there with the thick leaves, and here's a little narrow, darker green of the lavender. Here are some little prickly looking leaves from the rosemary. And I do want some black sage in there for protection because even though you're calm and meditating, you want to make sure you're safe as well, right? This would be a good stick to use when you're maybe getting in the mood to meditate or do some kind of psychic work. And then I want to throw in a little bit of this sage. Okay, just put that in there. I love this airy texture. Remember, air is kind of goes with that whole mental meditation. Okay, so I've got that picked out, and I'm going to get these lavender blossoms, and I'm going to put them in the front. Your decorations probably would be best placed in the front. Okay, and maybe I'll find a little pendant here somewhere. Okay, so to get it all held together first, I'm going to take some black cotton twine. It's not really thread, it's more string, that's what it is. And I'm going to wrap it up with this. Oh, you know what? I have some rose petals left too. So let's put in some rose petals because rose petals, high vibrations, right? Put that in there. Rose petals go with anything. I could have probably used white rose petals if I wanted to, or a different pink would have been pretty, but I don't have any right now. It's November, okay? So get everything all laid out like that. And then at the bottom here, I just made a discovery, and probably some of you already know this. I'm going to take this and I'm going to tie it in a knot to start out with so that my little end piece here is stationary. I probably knew that, I just forgot to do it. Okay, so nice tight knot here. And now I could start carefully wrapping it. So remember, you've just got your first bundle, and you're going to wrap it with this black thread. Try to keep everything in place, and if it falls off, you stick it back on there. Try to make those rose petals lay flat. I've seen some where people take rose buds and slip them in there. You just want to make sure that those rose buds are slightly open so that they don't there isn't too much moisture and they rot inside. So you want to keep things well aired out so that they are able to dry. Okay, so here I've got it all secured with the black, and then we get to add more pretty stuff here. We get to put in I have some lavender ribbon that I'm going to tie around. I don't think this piece is as long as that other one was, so with that one I wrapped it around several times. This one I'll just kind of crisscross it going up, and then I'll tie it right about here. This is your black thread that's really holding most of this on, and this lavender or mauve, I guess this looks like mauve, doesn't it? Holds it on. And then if I wanted to tie a little crystal or a little ornament on there of some sort, it'll be all set to go. Hang it up, let it dry out thoroughly before you use it. And just remember too that you can break off little bits of the white sage, or you can use it loose, which is pretty much what incense is. For incense, and maybe I'll do a video on incense, you want to add a few other things that will keep it burning longer. But so here we have my 2 beautiful sage bundles, and I hope you enjoy making some of your own. Now, if you're not able to, I'm just opened an Etsy store. It's called Sarina's Witchy Crafts. I'll put the link below the video. And very soon I hope to be placing some of these sage bundles and some plain ones too, because you'll know that your herbs were ethically and sustainably raised. If you want to go buy some from me, that would be wonderful. Okay, so enjoy working with these lovely little plants. And remember, it is all about energy.